This is probably going to be one of the most raw and uncut, like straight up man-to-man videos that I've ever given you in my entire life. And I titled it, "Women Will Only Leave You If This One Thing Occurs." Okay, so let this sink in. For those of you who have ever been left by a woman, like I get messages all the time saying, "Casey, this girl broke my heart," or "Casey, this happened, and this girl I like, she doesn't like me anymore." Women will only leave you on one condition. Okay? One thing. There's one thing specifically that will make a woman leave you, have zero desire for you, and have zero chance of reconciling to make a future relationship or intimate experience work. Okay, so stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to be giving you a full step-by-step guide to never being broken. Okay, and I genuinely mean that, like never being broken by a woman. You see so many guys where they're lost day to day, week to week, month to month, floating, through life because a girlfriend or a woman left them or cheated on them or, left them for a different guy. This is going to show you how to make that never happen. So in order to let this point sink in and in order for me to deliver you the full guide so that way you are never broken by a woman, we have to address what the one condition is, okay? A woman will only leave you. Okay? A woman will only leave you if she knows that it will absolutely break you. Let that sink in. Women will only leave you if she knows it will break you. So the reason why I say that this is so important for you to understand is because men oftentimes put up these shields of armor, okay, to guard themselves. So what you see is you will see a lot of players, okay, who are sleeping with a lot of women even if they don't have any interest in the women. A lot of them truthfully feel empty because they're having meaningless sex and they don't actually like or care about the girls that they're with. A lot of them, what they're doing is they're trying to put on a false mask or a false persona so that way they can guard their heart to some degree and they're scared to let a woman in. So what they do is they keep them at a distance. They get the girl sexually attached to them, but then they never actually commit or give any sort of love or intimacy to the woman because they're scared of, past experiences happening. Okay, this is how men, truthfully, like out of all of the men that I've met, majority, that is how they become players, quote unquote. Deep down, what you have to understand is this. It is completely normal to love a specific woman. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. I believe a man and a woman 100% can have happy, healthy, sustainable relationships together. Okay, and it's good to love a woman, especially if she loves you back and especially if you guys grow something beautiful together. That's an amazing thing. As a man, I think that if you ignore that aspect, you rob yourself of a lot of the life experience, like of the true human experience. Like when I say human experience, we as men will live lots of experiences over time. Okay, whether that be with friends, whether that be with family, whether that be with loved ones. To deny true love out of your life, to tell yourself that this is the most masculine way, or to tell yourself that I'm going to be happier sleeping with a bunch of women for the rest of my life, and to ignore the fact that you are a human too, regardless of being a strong man or not, okay? To ignore that, I believe you're robbing yourself out of a lot of the life experience or the full spectrum of the life experience, especially on a deep down, real human to human and or emotional level that you could be feeling and experiencing. These are great things. However, you have to understand this. A woman will only leave you if she knows it will break you and leave you in shambles, because that fundamentally is a man who has put that love and that intimacy before a lot of the number one priorities that you have to have in check. What I'm trying to tell you is it is okay and it is possible and it is normal to love a woman. However, you have to know how to do this without becoming a weak man who becomes broken. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step guide to making sure that that never happens to you, because I see far too many men investing into hookup culture or investing into quick short-term thrill relationships because they tell themselves it's going to be satisfying, and yet they're still going to bed every night, even if they are having sex, feeling lost, feeling lonely, Okay, not actually connecting with the right type of woman that they would want for them. And that's a miserable experience. So because of that, I'm going to help you out. So the first step to never being broken by a woman, okay, is you have to have your life set up in check. And when I say your life set up as a man or as a high value man, okay, that means you're genuinely happy. Okay? What does it mean to be genuinely happy? That means you wake up and you like what you do for a living. You wake up and you like the body that you've built in the gym. You wake up and you like how you look because you've taken care of yourself to the best of your ability. Okay? You wake up and you're okay with yourself and you're confident and you're comfortable in your own skin. You are proud of where you live. You are proud of the home you live in. You are proud of what you've been able to accomplish. To some degree, okay, you've put in work to yourself to where you feel like you have set up a life that not only makes you happy, but you set up a life where you know that any woman who would come into that world that you've created would probably live a better future and a better existence with you than she would experience without you. So that's key. The first step why I'm telling you life setup is so important is because at all times as a man, you have to know on a deep level, okay, a very deep level, that you will be okay even if a relationship were to go south. Which means you have to tell yourself, I will still wake up in the same bed, okay, I will live in the same home that I enjoy. I will still have my purpose, my career, my passions, my friends. I will still live a great existence with or without the woman. Therefore, because I've created a life setup and an environment for myself that is just as rewarding with a woman in it, that is just as rewarding having a woman in it or having a woman not in it, because of that you are content and you are self-sufficient. See, this is where majority of men, you put the cart before the horse. You try to introduce women and monogamy and a girlfriend, which is beautiful things, okay? I believe like on a human-to-human level, it is normal to have one specific girl that you like. And it is very normal to have a woman who has one specific man that she likes, okay? And this is how you have boyfriends and girlfriends and normal people and normal couples outside of the YouTube dating world. Do you understand that the videos you maybe watch, the outside world, aside from the small little YouTube group or community that watches this stuff, doesn't really know or care about these topics? Which means to most people it's normal to have a girlfriend. So like there's normal life outside of the internet. The first step is having a life setup. Because when you have a life setup, a woman who comes into it actually understands that you're happy and you're content with yourself and you like what you do. Therefore, you're radiating the right type of positive energy where she sees that you would not be broken. Most men put the cart before the horse. They're maybe still living with their parents. They're maybe still living with their mom. Okay, they don't have a vision for their future. Right, they're living with roommates, but yet they're wondering why, this woman doesn't necessarily see a future with him, why she's pulling back, why she's being distant. You have to make yourself a man, and that includes life setup. And here's a little hint. For all of you guys who like to victimize yourself and say, well, I wasn't born in the right location, I wasn't tall enough, you can make yourself a man at any height, at any age, at any income level, as long as you start the process of improving. If every day, brick by brick, you lay that foundation, you will get ahead. You just have to continue with the process. So that is step one. You have to have proper life set up. So the second thing that you have to do as a man is you have to check the boxes that you know are universally attractive to all women. Okay? And you have to focus on only the boxes that you can control. If you're a shorter guy and you're worried about your height, you're not going to be able to control that. Therefore, there's no use in it. But you have to focus on the things that you can control. Check the boxes off that are universally attractive to women. So what does that mean? Okay. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get your money and your finances on point. Okay, because what a woman is looking for, especially long-term, is she's looking for stability within a man who could potentially protect and provide for her. This is why it's important to have potentially disposable resources. This is why I'm telling you, those of you who are not at the point yet in your career where you feel comfortable with doing these things, you're going to have to get yourself in check first and make yourself a man first. before you want to introduce love and relationships and monogamy into your life. But here's what I can tell you. When you check the boxes that are universally attractive to women, okay? Get in the gym and build a V-taper, okay? Up-level your status in your career and climb the ladder, okay? Have vision and have future for your life. Spend your time learning competency skills when it comes to making money, okay? Being a better man. When it comes to doing things that men would do in order to have a stable life. Spend your time doing that over video games and over drinking and over partying and over smoking, and watch what happens to women, okay? Your status will increase in their eyes. And not only that, what happens when your status increases, whether that be in your career, professionally, what have you, is other women start to notice. When other women start to notice, she's going to see that you're somebody of value. So the second step is to check the boxes that are universally attractive to all women. Third step in this guide to never being broken by a woman is going to be to never, and I mean never, make women your number one priority in life. Never. You cannot make a woman your number one priority. And here's what you have to understand. It will feel good in the short term if you do that. And the reason being is because you are putting pleasure over your purpose. Whenever you put pleasure over your purpose in the short term, meaning in that 1 second of that minute of that hour of that day, that's going to feel amazing. It might be lust filled. Okay, it might be you get to connect chemistry with a woman. Okay, it might be sexually, it might be you going out and spending lots of free time and having leisure, going on a bunch of dates. When men put their dating life prior or in front of their own priorities, it will strip you of everything that actually makes you a man. And the reason why you have to be smarter than this is because you have to use your masculine, rational intellect as a masculine man to understand that your feelings in life, your feelings in this life will misguide you. If you live by your feelings, what will happen is that it will emasculate you and strip you of the things that make you attractive in the first place. A woman never wants to see that a man makes her his first priority, and the reason being is because she will feel unsafe with that man. She feels safe with the man who has his own goals, who has his own ambitions, who is driven in life in his specific areas, who is competent in his path, who believes in his mission, and not only probably has a 2-month goal, a 3-month goal, a 6-month goal. As a man, you want to have a trajectory for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you stay that path because you believe in yourself and what you can accomplish. That is what a woman looks for. Those things to a woman equal stability, but what you have to know is it equals a hell of a lot of time on your end and being committed to the grind, being committed to staying that path and being a driving force in your own life. And when you build these things, not only do you start to acquire the physical resources and the mental resources that come with it, but you start to become so competent it fortifies your personality, because you are constantly looking to the future and building the things in life that you want to build. A woman never wants to see that she's your first priority. Things like your finances, your vision, your purpose, your career, these things have to come first. And it has to come first because this gives you the masculine stability to put intellect and rationale over your emotions. And in today's day and age, this is something that majority of men cannot do. And they can't do it because they're weak, right? A lot of them were misguided. A lot of them are too lazy to do any sort of self-education to figure out what it is that they actually have to do to grow as an individual. And this is how you have 30, 35, 40-year-old men who are lost, who think that modern women are the problem, when in actuality, modern women are living in the world that men created. And when you start to see these things, you start to realize you have more control over your own future than you thought you did. Fourth step to never being broken by a woman ever, okay, is you can never lose your vision, and specifically when it comes to your own masculine creativity. See, what you have to understand is that God gave you specific ways to build and have skill sets and become creative, okay? Now, nobody can do the work for you, but to some degree, you are probably blessed with certain skills, certain character traits, and certain development patterns to where you can actually build and craft your own future. I truly believe it's almost impossible for a man to truly feel like a man and be a man unless he is focused on creating and building. And it doesn't matter what it is that you are looking at building. It doesn't matter if it's building a business. It doesn't matter if it's, building some sort of community project. It doesn't matter if it's building a family, right? It doesn't matter if it's building artwork or infrastructure. It doesn't matter what it is. If you look around at the world around you, men have always been builders. The fastest way to step into your natural, masculine, God-given creativity is to start the process of building. The reason why this is the highest form of masculinity is because in order to create, you have to understand this, it takes imagination. It takes imagination. It takes real masculine creativity and imagination. This is where you use your brain and your intellect. And when you can see a vision, now you can start to create that vision. Well, what does it take to create the vision that you dream up in your head? The vision that you dream up in your head is going to take a path. It's going to take you using your God-given skill sets. And brick by brick, it's going to take you staying dedicated to that path and to that vision because you're committed. The second a man loses track of his vision, he becomes complacent and he lives in complacency within the day-to-day aspects and the grind of life. And when you start to live day by day just to get through, and a woman no longer sees a future with you because you have ran out of your own vision and your own life purpose, this right here is when your relationship is going to start to crumble. This is when you no longer have the sex life that you've always wanted. This is when you no longer have a feminine woman who loves and cares about you like she once did. So the guide to getting not broken ever is you have to see the amount of work that it takes for you to actually become a real man, which is going to lead me exactly into point number 5. The 5th step is you have to remove all spectator sports and leisure activity, because these things were created on purpose to keep you distracted, living in sedation, and strip you of your natural God-given masculinity. When you start to see that you only have 24 hours in life, you start to see that life is work. See, most people work to live. When you start to understand that all of life is work, this is when you will truly embody the traits of masculinity. Because you have to stay upkept and focused on your vision, on your path, on your finances, on your health, okay? On your mental health, on your spirituality or your beliefs. These things take real work. When you kick back and you now are allowing things like spectator sports or movies to come into your life, video games, what you're doing is you're being entertained. Me personally, I'm so committed to my vision. I'm so committed to my craft. I'm so committed to building the things I want to build in life. I have no time to watch a different man who's chased excellence in his life and get paid millions of dollars to go and throw a football. Do you understand how stupid this is? You have thousands of men sitting in a stadium cheering on a select few 20 men sitting down on the field. And your woman has to watch that. Every single time you engage in this bullshit that was created on purpose in life to keep you distracted and to keep you sedated, you have to understand that you are lowering your own intellect and competency. And when a woman sits back and watches you engage in these things, you look stupid. If you have 24 hours in a day, I have 24 hours in a day, and Warren Buffett has 24 hours in a day, you have to understand that the only thing you can control is where you put your time. And if you are not at the spots where you want to be in life yet, the whole purpose of masculine competency is to use what's between your eyes, which is your brain, right in the middle, right here. Use that to craft plan, vision, and structure to get ahead. This is how you don't become broken by a woman. You are now separating yourself from the 99% of men living in sedation. And number 6, I saved the best point for last, and I did that on purpose because those of you who stuck with me all the way to the end of point number 6, I want you to comment, stayed with me till the end in the video, in the comments, because I want to see how many people of you did. I saved the best point for last. Okay. Number 6, you have to wipe any sense of true self or self-identity. So I will put up a picture of me, okay, from when I was very young, because I was just like you. I was a boy who had to turn myself into a man, just like you have to or will have to at some point, at any age. Okay, there's men who are 22 years old, and there's boys who is 35 years old. You have to make yourself a man, and that can start at any age. You have to just stay committed, okay? You have to understand this, and I had to understand this too. You come into this world with no skills. You come into this world as a blank slate who has to learn and who has to adapt. So majority of men hold themselves back because they have a sense of current self-identity. And they refuse themselves to be adaptive. They refuse themselves to be in a state where they can adapt to their environment and learn how to get ahead. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. My sense of self and my sense of self-identity changes by the day. And when I say changes by the day, what that means is I'm constantly analyzing and screening what belief sets serve me best to put myself first to get ahead in certain areas in life that I feel is extremely important. So when you do anything new and you are born into this world with no skill sets, you are going to feel like it's foreign. You are going to feel like you weren't meant for this, okay? When I was 15, 16, I started talking to girls. I told my, that probably didn't feel natural, and it wasn't the true me right away. You build yourself into who the true you is. When I first started lifting weights in the gym when I was super skinny, that wasn't my true identity. I didn't identify as a guy who was a bodybuilder or who lifted weights. I had to make myself into that, okay? Every single business endeavor that I've ever done felt foreign, okay? Yesterday, I started looking at real estate property because this year, one of my biggest goals is to get invested. Was that my true self? Now I'm learning how to, look at spreadsheets and cash flow and leasing units and buildings and stuff. Is that me? Is that my true identity? I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Just commit to winning. So people plague themselves with these false senses of reality and these false senses of identity. You tell yourself, well, I can't do this because I'm shy, or I can't do this because, I wasn't born good looking, or I can't do this because I was born in a family that was poor. And all of that stuff is just such bullshit excuses. Because when you commit to the vision, right? Where did I talk about vision? Point number 4, committing to the vision. You craft yourself into who you want to be. And that takes removing your sense of self-identity currently, because who you are does not yet have the results that you're wanting in life. And if you abide by these 6 principles, I'm going to tell you this, it is going to be damn hard for a woman to replace you. So when you're so worried about getting broken and getting heartbroken, the fastest way to not get heartbroken is to be the best option. And the reason why I tell you this is because in today's day and age, most men are so low in competence, they don't even try. And if you are even willing to try, let alone try hard, you have to understand just how rare that one skill alone is, which means if you try hard, dare I say it, you are guaranteed success. Because in this world, nobody tries. It has been cool, it has been publicized, it's been praised to sit back, say, I need work-life balance, I need to just kick it, I need my free time, I'm weak, I'm a victim, let me watch television. Cool, let them do that. The fact that you have access even to this insider information with these 6 steps that I just provided to you will make you a cut above everybody else. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button. Check out that free MBT webinar presentation that I have below in the description. We'll see you in the next one.